Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Quirky in the Moments That Needed No Words. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Quirky never woke me up with barking. He did it with presence. Every morning, before the alarm rang, there was a familiar weight near my feet, a soft warmth that shifted gently, as if afraid to disturb my sleep. When I opened my eyes, Quirky would already be there, his head resting on the edge of the bed, eyes half open, tail moving slowly like a clock ticking in kindness rather than urgency. That morning was no different. The room was quiet, filled with the pale light of early day. Outside, the city was already beginning its daily rhythm, but inside, time moved differently. Quirky watched me stretch, yawn, and sit up. He didn't rush me. He didn't jump or demand attention. He simply waited, as if he understood that mornings were delicate things. When I stood up, he followed. Not too close, not too far. In the kitchen, while I prepared coffee, Quirky sat on his usual spot by the door. He didn't ask to go outside yet. He knew I wasn't ready. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, watching my hands move, listening to the soft sounds of spoons and cups. Sometimes I talked to him. Sometimes I didn't. Quirky never seemed to mind either way. That morning, words felt unnecessary. I was tired, my thoughts heavy from plans, deadlines, and worries that had followed me into sleep. Quirky sensed it. He walked over slowly and leaned his body against my leg. No sound, no movement, just contact. It was enough. Later, when we went for our walk, the street felt calmer than usual. Quirky walked beside me, his pace matching mine naturally. When I stopped to check my phone, he stopped too. When I looked up at the sky, he followed my gaze, as if curious about whatever had caught my attention. At one point, we passed a small park where children were playing. Quirky watched them with quiet interest, but didn't pull toward them. He stayed with me. His loyalty wasn't loud, it was steady. As we sat on a bench, Quirky lay down at my feet, resting his chin on my shoe. I didn't pet him. He didn't move away. We just shared the moment, surrounded by everyday sounds, footsteps, distant laughter, leaves moving in the breeze. In that silence, I realized something simple and profound. Quirky wasn't trying to fill my life with noise or excitement. He was teaching me how to be present, how to exist comfortably without explanation. And in a world that never stops talking, that lesson felt quietly extraordinary. Life continued in its usual way. Workdays blurred into each other, emails piled up, and time moved faster than I wanted it to. Through it all, Quirky remained constant. During the afternoons, while I worked at my desk, Quirky lay nearby. Sometimes under the table, sometimes by the window where sunlight painted warm shapes on the floor. He didn't ask for attention, but he always knew when I needed a break. There were moments when my shoulders tensed, when my breathing became shallow without me realizing it. That was when Quirky would stand up, stretch, and walk over. He would place his head gently on my knee, his eyes calm, patient. No words, no judgment, just understanding. I learned to notice these signals. When Quirky moved, it was often because something inside me had shifted first. He was listening to things I wasn't saying, even to myself. One rainy afternoon, the power went out. The house fell into an unexpected stillness. No screens, no notifications, no background noise. At first, I felt restless. My hands didn't know what to do. Quirky, however, seemed pleased. He walked around the room, sniffing corners as if rediscovering the house. Then he curled up beside me on the floor. The rain tapped softly against the windows, and Quirky's breathing formed a gentle rhythm. I lay down too, my head near his side. I could feel the warmth of his body, steady and real. We stayed like that for a long time, sharing a quiet that felt rare and honest. In that moment, I realized how often humans try to solve everything with words. We explain, defend, complain, promise. We fill silence because we fear it might reveal something uncomfortable. Quirky didn't fear silence. He lived inside it. Another day, we met an elderly neighbor during our walk. She stopped to admire Quirky, smiling as she bent down to greet him. Quirky sat calmly, letting her touch his head. "He's very gentle," she said. I nodded, but the word gentle felt too small. Quirky wasn't just gentle with people. He was gentle with moments, with emotions, with life itself. That evening, as I cooked dinner, Corky lay in the doorway between the kitchen and living room. He wasn't in the way, but he was there, like a quiet bridge connecting spaces. When I looked at him, he looked back, tail tapping the floor once or twice. It was a conversation without language. And slowly, I began to understand that Corky wasn't just my dog. He was my reminder to slow down, to listen deeper, and to respect the silent connections that often matter most. Corky and the moments we shared without words taught me lessons that feel especially important in today's fast, noisy world. Through him, I learned that connection does not always require explanation. Sometimes, simply being present is the greatest gift we can offer to animals and to people alike. In modern life, we are constantly encouraged to speak, to react, to prove ourselves. Yet Corky showed me the power of quiet companionship. His calm presence reminded me to slow my breathing, to observe rather than rush, and to respect emotional space, both my own and that of others. This is something we can apply every day, listening more, interrupting less, and understanding that not every feeling needs to be solved immediately. Our relationship also highlights the responsibility humans have toward animals. Animals depend on us not only for food and shelter, but for emotional safety. When we treat them with patience, kindness, and empathy, we create a bond built on trust rather than control. In return, they teach us emotional honesty and unconditional acceptance. Corky taught me that a better life between humans and animals begins with respect, gentleness, and shared silence. By valuing these simple moments, we build a world that is more compassionate for every living being.